Hello, everyone. Welcome to another exciting episode on the Rems Family Farm channel. A lot of people have been asking me a few questions about the monetary aspect of gardening and homesteading in general. So I figured I was going to do a video and try to explain the best way I can all the expenses and all the amount of money that it's making me save at the end of the year. And just so you know, I was able to harvest for about 2,600 pounds of food last year alone. And that's with hunting, fishing, foraging, farming, and gardening. So all that total was roughly revenue of about $10,000 worth of food. But I also had a few expenses with that. So I'm going to try to explain that as much as I can. First thing I want to say is everyone in the world does not have the same situation. And if you live in the city, if you live in the country, if your village is allowing you to grow food in the community garden, for example, or if you don't have a big backyard, you might have a few different approaches to what I'm going to say here. But I have 1 acre property where I grow tons of food. I also have a community garden that I have access to. Plus, there's a lot of wild edibles, wild fruits around here that can help me accomplish the goals that I have for the season. So let's say you have the space. We've established a place to put your garden where it's going to get a lot of sunshine during the day, and you're going to have access to, because if it's too far away and you don't really have a good access to it, then it's kind of pointless, because you want to have everything close by, nearby your house, where you can just get out of the house, be in the garden, enjoy the time outside. Because if you don't enjoy what you're doing, it's not going to do much good for you. So you have the place. What you can do, the simple way to do it, of course, you can have someone come with a tractor and till the ground, and it might cost you 60, 70, $80, depending on how much the person doing the work charges you. But you can also have something done for free. And the work that you have to do is simply gather some cardboards, put that flat on the grass, on the ground, and from there, build your compost pile. Compost, I was able to find a nice tractor bucket full of compost for about $30. The only problem is I had to go pick it up about 10 minutes away. So in terms of gas, like, I'm not really adding that to my budget here. It gave me approximately enough compost for a 6x8 garden. Now you might think that it's not much, but it's still enough for someone who wants to start and learn about gardening. Now I'm going to break down some numbers for you, but keep in mind, this is not necessarily what I've done, but it's just to give you a big idea of how much money you can save at the end of the year by doing your own garden. I'm going to talk about My Gardener, which is an amazing company. He has a YouTube channel where you can go and learn all the stuff you want about all the seeds you're going to buy. Everything is in American dollars, but it is $2 a pack, and I didn't really see a big huge difference when I was ordering, since I'm in Canada. So the My Gardener company does ship in Canada, and if you pay over $20 in your order, you save on shipping. So $2 a pack. Let's order at least 10 packs of seeds. So I decided to go for one with packs of carrots. In 1 pack of carrots, you have approximately 500 seeds. I also bought a pack of radishes. You get about 250 seeds. I also bought a pack of lettuce, where you get about 1,000 seeds in your pack. I also got beans for 25 seeds. I also bought cucumbers, where you get about 50 seeds. I also bought tomatoes, where you get about 25 seeds. I also bought peppers, where you get about 15 seeds, and zucchinis, where you get about 30 seeds in a pack. And last but not least, I bought a pack of beets, where you get about 100 seeds in your pack. So right now we already have a total of about $50, and we have the compost, we have the garden, and we have the seeds. Now I might not be able to plant all those seeds in the same year. On the long run, the compost is still going to stay there, the garden is going to stay there, you're still going to have the seeds. And the way I did all the numbers, I did it as though you would have 80% germination rate. Germination rate means that if you plant 100 seeds of that specific kind, you would have 80 of those seeds germinating and producing the vegetable or the plant, at least. So let's say we take the 25 seeds of tomatoes. 80% germination rate would mean that we would get about 20 seeds out of that pack that would actually germinate and get into a plant. Now you might need some skills to be able to make sure that that plant grows and become full of fruits, but that's another story, right? So everyone has a chance to start and learn and grow food. Usually my gardener has a lot more success than 80%. They even have close to 100% germination rate. I put 80% because we might not want to plant all the seeds on the same year. So every year you wait with those seeds, the germination rate goes down a little bit. But I'm doing the numbers at 80%, and even at 80%, you'll see that we have a nice profit at the end of the season. So let's take a pack of seeds and bring it down to what 80% of those seeds would be. Now, carrots with 500 seeds, 80% of that would be 400 carrots that would actually sprout and become a carrot. When we talk about the radish, 250 seeds in a pack, that would mean that we would have 200 seeds germinating. With 1,000 lettuce seeds, that means we would have 800 lettuces sprouting at around the same time. So, that's one of the few plants that we would actually wait and do some successful planting, which is not something I'm going to talk in this video. You can find some information on the internet. Another thing also to keep in mind is you might want to keep those seeds for the following years. So 1,000 seeds will last you a very, very long time. 25 seeds for beans. That would mean that we would have at least 20 plants germinating. 50 seeds of cucumbers, we would have at least 40 germinating. Tomatoes, like I said, the 25 seeds would end up being 20 seeds turning into plants. The 15 seeds of peppers would mean that we would have 12. And 30 seeds of zucchinis would give us 24 plants. The 100 beets, that's an easy one to calculate. That would be 80 beets that would actually germinate. Now, all the numbers that I'm going to give you here are maybe not the exact numbers of what it is now in 2024, but those are just guidelines, numbers to help you understand the process. And I try to go as close as I could, maybe not going on items for sale, but on items that you would buy at regular price. The 400 carrots, that would give you about 30 packs of carrots at $1.99 each for a total of $59.70. 225 radishes would be about 20 packs at $2.69 for a total of $53.80. 1,000 lettuce, of course, it has to be on the long run, but 800 lettuces, I mean, you've seen it at the grocery store, they go for about $2 each. I put them down at $1.99 for one head of lettuce, which would give us $1,592. 20 bean plants, you can easily get about 2 pounds of beans on one plant. It could be more, it could be less. I averaged this up at 2 pounds per plant, which would give me 40 pounds at $2.49 for a total of $119.60. We can also take the 40 plants of cucumbers we would get, maybe get 3 cucumber per plant for a total of 120 cucumbers, and put that at 99 cents a piece. You end up with $118.80. The 25 tomato seeds, it turned out to be 20 plants. We get about 10 pounds per plant if we do things correctly. That would give me a total of 200 pounds of tomatoes at $2.49 a pound for a total of $498. The 12 plant of peppers would give us maybe 5 peppers per plant. And if we put 60 peppers total, that would give us roughly about $100 worth of peppers. The 24 plants of zucchinis will provide at least, and I say at least, 5 zucchinis per plant at $2.49. That's a total of 120 zucchinis for a total of $298.80. The 80 beets would give you roughly about $24 of beets. So right now we are at about $30 of compost, $20 of seeds. We made a total of $3,024.10 worth of food for a profit of $2,974.10. Now, you might think that it is time consuming, time is money, and so on, blah, blah, blah. You're right. But I think that being in the garden, doing that work is better than sitting on the couch and watching TV. While I'm home doing the garden, I'm not out drinking beer at a bar. I'm not, spending money elsewhere doing something else. I love gardening. And to me, this is like a clear profit of $2,900. I mean, you can't go wrong with that. Now, let's talk a little bit more about the farming part. Now, last year I purchased 40 chickens.
They were 3 weeks old.
They were $4.10 each. I know the price went up this year, but also did the food at the grocery store. But let's stick to our $4.10 for a 3 week old chicken. That was a total of $164 worth of chickens for me. I kept them for 5 weeks. I overfed them and fed them and fed them, give them some grass clippings, give them some meat grower feed. I give them a total of 8 bags of feed at $25 each. So that was a total of $200 worth of food. That was $364 that it cost me total for the chickens and the feed. Of course, you need a place to put the chickens, but you can probably build something out of free material like pallets or, second-handed woods that would even be cheaper. But I'm not going to put that in my price here because I already had the buildings in place. So it was a total of $364 to have my chickens from when they were young until they were ready to harvest. I already have the chicken plucker, but that's something that can be done by hand, which is free. All you really need is a good knife. And if you have a kitchen, you probably already have that knife. I also bought some poultry shrink bags that were $48.99 for 50 bags. And it comes with all the zip ties that you need. It comes with the silicone straw, and it comes with all the instructions that you need to properly store your chicken. So that gave me a total of $412.99 for my 40 chickens. Now you will lose some chickens. I lost one. So it was a total of $412.99 for the 40 chickens. But when I have to do my numbers, I have to keep in mind that I lost one and I was lucky enough to only lose one. So I calculated everything for the chicken being $2.99 a pound. I had 220 pounds total for a total of $657.80. And if you're wondering, with the 39 chickens I had left, it was an average of over 5 pounds, around 5.5 pounds average per chicken, which is, it's not too big, it's not too small for a family of 7 like I have. It was just enough for a meal, and we always have some leftovers for 1 or 2 person the next day if the kids want to have a sandwich to go to school or something I can bring with me to work. Now, if you check out all those numbers, a total of $657.80 revenue in terms of the amount of food that I had and $412.99 expenses, it was a total of $244.81. Now, the chickens can get a lot bigger if you feed them grass clippings and leftovers from the table. Now, if some of you are really good in math, you probably already have the numbers add up in your mind. But I'm going to give them to you anyway. So I paid a total of $50 for my garden with the seeds and the compost, and a total of $412.99 for my chickens. That gives me a total of $462.99. That's what came out of my pocket. That was the investment that I made towards my homestead. I ended up with, like I said, 650 something dollars worth of chicken and over $3,000 worth of vegetables from my garden. That's given me a total of $3,681.90 that I was able to bring in as a value of food. Now, one might argue that if I go and watch the sales, I'll get it a bit better cost. I'm just giving the numbers just to give a small idea of what it's like, what it's worth. That's a total profit of $3,218.91, and that is a profit. And keep in mind that that is not taxable money. That is food that you're growing from your own garden. Maybe I shouldn't say that. Maybe they will, start taxing the garden. But anyway, hopefully you see the numbers here. If you grow a lot more food than that, you can have a bigger profit. Last year, my profit would have been around $7,000, $8,000. Now, if you start counting the fact that I stayed home instead of going out, spend some gas driving around, or eat at a restaurant or anything like that, I probably saved a lot more money than what I'm showing here. If I go foraging, I went foraging, it cost me like maybe $30 worth of gas to go on one trip in the woods. I ended up fishing some trout. I ended up harvesting like 20 pounds of blueberries, plus all the amount of mushrooms that I was able to find. So those are all extras that I can add to my profit, but I'm not going to, because you already see the point that I wanted to make, that it is worth it. It is worth spending time out gardening and harvesting your own food, farming, and all that kind of stuff. So hope you enjoy. Let me know in the comments below if you agree with me or not. And let's stay respectful, please. Thank you. Bye.